Dear girlies, welcome to the Notes to Her podcast. I'm your hostess Rianne, and we are back with another episode. Friday fix again, you're welcome. Before we get into this episode, as always, if you haven't already, please do like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the follow button, notification bell so you don't miss another episode, Friday at 7, and yeah, give us a follow on notestoher.pod on Instagram, and you can also follow my personal account, which is Rianne Walker, but instead of the E in Walker, it is an X. And yeah, how are we? I am feeling really, really pleased with myself, really, really pumped. I am feeling, like really positive, and determined, and like when you have something that's been like running on your mind that you're like, I know I need to get this done, and you're able to achieve it, and you take it off your list, and it's like, oh, this is coming to fruition, I've done it. That's how I'm feeling. Like I'm feeling like really, really good. Another pre-recorded episode, if you haven't listened to the previous ones and you don't know already, I am in Ghana at the moment by this point in time, by the time this episode comes out, and the podcast and I are having a much needed break and rest and slow down currently. So but I couldn't let you girlies down, so I just had to make sure I get things out and done. And this is basically what I'm talking about, getting the things done like before going on holiday is such an incredible feeling, knowing that you can just actually relax and rest now, because I know this would have played on my mind for ages even when I was out there like, oh, the pod, I wish I'd done this and this beforehand. So yeah, so in today's episode I'm going to be talking about slowing down. As I mentioned already, I am in Ghana by this point in time, so my slowdown is very much needed. And I know before I even left the UK by this point, it's also weird talking about in future tense, so bear with me. But yeah, I know before I left the UK, a lot of things in my life, I guess, had kind of like slowed down by that point in time. And it had been so like such an incredible feeling to be able to like think and feel like you can breathe, and almost not have like, I guess, a weight over your shoulders. To be honest with you, like, yeah, it'd been like a crazy few months, like when you're continuously busy with doing different things here and there, and it feels like you have no time for yourself. So to be able to slow down quite a bit, just have work and do things that I want to do and take my time, has been incredible. And then is there any other better feeling than also being on holiday? I don't think so. So in today's episode, we are going to talking about slowing our pace, slowing things down a little bit. I don't know why as well. I feel like I'm wanting to slow how I'm talking as well, to just make a bit more of an impact. But then it's giving like sloth, and I cannot, because I am genuinely usually a fast talker. So the definition of slowing down is reducing the speed, pace, or intensity of movement, activity, or specific process. I feel like it's so normalized, and it's just a way of life over here to, for example, I have to compare it to London. London is, if you guys have ever been, I am from London, moved when I was 9 to Wales, so the dynamics of London is so different. And I remember like a lot of it when I was younger and stuff, but even when I go to visit now, it's changed, but it's still the same. But anyway, so London is such a paced city, very intense, a lot of things going on at once. It can be so overwhelming, people rushing by you, people walking fast, people running for the bus or the train. Like, slow just doesn't exist. And if you are a slow walker visiting London, sorry to y'all, like you have to be quick. It's almost like if you're not, it feels like there's something that you're missing, so when I go, I almost have to like mentally prepare to be like, you can't be a slow walker, like you have to get things You got to move, be on the move, be on the move. Whereas in comparison to where I live now, a lot of things are like so like slow, slower pace, you know, not as intense, not as thing. Don't get me wrong, I am still someone that, I don't know, it's weird. I'm not someone that is like, oh, all the time, but it takes a lot for me to be able to slow down quite a lot, to be honest with you, because I am someone that likes to be very productive and very active and just do things and do things quickly. Like I don't have like a lot of patience, and it's something that I'm really trying to work on. So, you know, for me, I feel like I can just do things faster, and I don't realize how much I do that. And I've just started to become a lot more aware of that as well, of just like certain things just slow down, like even things like eating really fast. Like I've really had to learn to just slow down with doing that as well. So yeah, reducing the speed, pace, or intensity is something that has so many benefits. So I compared it with London in comparison to Wales, and then when I go abroad, you know, I love to travel. Like I am a travel girly through and through. So when I go abroad and I see the way of life, and even when I'm in Ghana as well, things don't feel, although it's a rush, like where I stay is in Accra, is in the city, it's the capital city of Ghana. And things don't feel as rushed. Things don't feel like, oh, you have to get this done and you have to do this. Things are so much of a slower pace. Don't get me wrong, it's a city, so naturally things are going to be a bit more busier, but I feel like just in comparison to like the Western world and the UK specifically, when I say specifically, I specifically mean London, to be honest with you, and the major cities, you don't get that. I guess, I don't know, it's like I don't even know how to describe it. There's almost like a bit of, I don't want to say unsettled, but just a tenseness, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. But if you know that feeling, let me know. And then also, like when you go on holiday, like it's almost like a breath of fresh air as well. So when I'm talking about slowing down, it's kind of like that feeling. Not to say everything's like a holiday, but that feeling that you get of like, oh, I'm outside of my normal environment, and the impact that can have when you're feeling like on holiday in comparison to when you're, I don't know, at home in your normal environment differs. I hope I'm making sense, and you girlies are picking up what I'm putting down. So yeah, why do we rush? Why do we not slow down? Why do we struggle to do that? I feel like as people, a very generalization, but I feel like some things, and then also when I was researching, it was coming up is something that's like hustle culture. So that was quite a big thing, you know. I feel like maybe up to like 4-5 years ago potentially, you know, of I gotta get this done and I gotta hustle and I gotta get this bread and, you know, have a 9 to 5, but then also do an entrepreneurship as well and start a small business and, you know, have loads of different hobbies and no time to yourself, and then gotta get this done, and if you've got kids as well, and like get them to their thing. So that hustle culture, obviously it's not just only about all those things that I've mentioned as well, but something that's been normalized. You know, even things like commuting to work as well. You're stuck in traffic. If you're running late with certain things, you're rushing to kind of get things done. Your alarm has not gone off. You've woken up a lot later. You've got 5 minutes to get ready. You're rushing around like that kind of aspect. You know, when you're at work, potentially deadlines that you've got going on, targets to meet, emails to respond to, like it's things basically that you feel like you cannot rest. And especially if you have a high intense job that you feel like you also can't switch off from either, that is something where you're continuously going to be, I guess, tense. And we keep a lot of tension in our body without even realizing it. And, you know, I've spoken about our nervous system and everything like that before, which brings me then on to, you know, the impact of continuously rushing, you know, impacts our nervous system. You're not sure if you're coming and going, basically. It's kind of like, where does it begin? Where does it end? You know, that kind of feeling. You're jittery. I know someone that is, every time I see her rushing, think like rushing around. It's just like, it's given supersonic. Like that's what I'm thinking of, because it's just like everything is not slow with her. Like it is a genuinely like fast-paced thing. Anytime you see her, talk fast, move fast, do things fast. I feel like as well, without realizing it, when people are like that, it kind of creates like a certain environment where it's kind of just like everything is just a little bit scattered and you don't know like what's going on kind of thing. And I'm shaking because that's what it's like, that's what it's giving. Like, that's kind of like how it feels. Constant stress and anxiety as well, you know, going back to the impacts of like rushing around all the time, brain fog. It's also something where we're continuously running out of time. So like it then feels like, oh, we have no time to do anything, right? And so that continuous rushing and that continuous, I guess, feeling of unsettlement and I guess potentially anxiety as well can create that feeling of pressure. And I've spoken about that in previous episodes as well, you know, about the topic of pressure and how that can make us feel and the impact of that as well. I also feel like then as well, the impact of continuously rushing and never really slowing down is we're never fully present. We're never noticing anything else around us really. We're kind of only just stuck in that, either the future aspect of it of like, I need to get this thing done. We don't notice what else is going on around us because we're so focused on that one thing, or you know, we're 10 steps ahead of ourselves to try and just complete what we need to complete, that it's almost hard then to kind of feel like settled and present and know your surroundings and know exactly what's going on. And then similar to the whole continuous running out of time, it almost feels like then we're always in go mode. The continuous like, no, I can't rest, I can't stop, I can't do anything. Like, I just need to keep going, I need to keep going. I need to have that resilience and then perseverance and everything like that, when sometimes actually what is most productive and what is actually needed is just to rest. So then you can then get back to your normal state and normal self to then be able to be present and not feel like you're continuously in survival mode, not even just go mode, but survival mode. So, you know, I had mentioned about what it's kind of like, I guess, to slow down. And I did think of like the feeling of when you are on holiday. And by this point in time, as I'd mentioned already, I am in Ghana. So for me, I know my brain kind of like, whenever I go there, it kind of just switches off. It's nice to slow down. I'm in a completely different environment with people that I don't know, like they don't know me, the public don't know me over there. So it's nice just to be able to, I guess, relax. You have such a massive weight off your shoulders. The sun is shining, you're sitting by the pool, like that kind of vibe. And it's hard to do that, I guess, when you are in your normal environment. So I think things like doing some self-care, you know, taking yourself out on a date, buying yourself flowers, you know, not neglecting you and doing things, I guess, that will help to relax yourself. Having a bath, I don't know, going to the sauna, having a spa day. It doesn't even have to be something where you have to go physically to those things, but you know, you can do one at home as well. I've jumped the gun because those are kind of like tips that I've given you guys. But anyway, the impact of slowing down, it will help you also to allow yourself to be more present. You notice the smaller things and you'll also appreciate them more. And then you'll also feel like you actually have more time as well, because it's like, oh, okay, I don't need to rush to complete this. I can just get it done in my own time. And I feel like sometimes, and it's just so weird, it just popped to mind in the sense of time almost feels like a privilege. It's kind of like when you are continuously in that survival mode state, you don't know whether you're coming and going, you've got the jitters, like think you're just continuously rushing. When you then are just like, you know what, let me take my time with this. It almost feels like time goes the same, and then it feels a bit more of a privilege when you're able to slow down and not rush things and notice the smaller things and appreciate it more. So, girlies, a very short and sweet episode, to be honest with you. I've given the tips already. I jumped the gun and I do apologize. But, you know, other things that I guess came to mind as well and that I noted down was things like, you know, giving yourself that rest time, pausing, you know, during that rushing state as well. It is something where if you're able to give yourself that time just to pause, it doesn't even have to be long. Obviously it depends on the circumstances. Something as quick as like 30 seconds to 1 minute, just pausing. It's not stopping, it's pausing and just checking in with yourself. Again, things that will help to create that self-awareness too during those times of feeling like you cannot slow down. But slowing down is important. And we need that. We cannot continuously be in survival mode, to be honest with you, because it's not healthy. So girlies, we have come to the end of the episode. A very short but sweet one. If you haven't already, please do like, comment, subscribe, follow, share. The Notes to Her podcast on where you usually listen to all your podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram. It's notes2her.pod, and my personal account is Rianne Walker, but instead of the E in Walker, it is an X. And I think that's everything. So I'll see you girlies in the next episode. Loves ya.